let's get divorced. Krushan stood at the door, his military uniform impeccably pressed, his expression as grave as if he were heading to the battlefield. I was mending his military socks when I heard those words, and the needle and thread in my hands came to a halt, not because I was shocked, but because I had long known this day would come. Reborn back in 1975, with memories from my past life, I knew exactly what he would say to me today. Why? I continued sewing the socks with my head down, my voice so calm it even scared me. Luna Sue, she needs a proper status. Krushan's voice tightened a bit. She's pregnant. The needle pricked my finger, and a drop of blood fell onto the white military sock, blooming into a red flower. In my past life, when I heard these words, I cried my heart out, kneeling on the ground and clinging to his leg, begging him not to leave. At that time, I didn't know it was all just a play orchestrated by him and Luna Sue. Luna Sue was never pregnant. She just wanted the status of an officer's wife to secure a transfer to work at a provincial hospital, and foolish me, I actually went through with the divorce and even gave them the house I got when we married. Less than half a year after the divorce, Luna Sue had a miscarriage and was smoothly transferred away, leaving Krushan alone to wallow in regret. By that time, I had already married someone else and refused to look back at him. Say something, Krushan urged impatiently when I didn't respond. I slowly raised my head and looked at the man who had once made me love him to the point of life and death. The face beneath the military cap was sharply defined, with deep-set eyes. Indeed, a handsome man. Pity that beneath that attractive exterior lay a heart devoid of affection. All right, I smiled, but I have one condition. Krushan froze. Clearly not expecting me to agree so readily. According to their script, I should cry and make a scene, should stubbornly refuse to agree, so that he could showcase his deep affection and helplessness. What conditions? He tentatively asked. The house goes to me, and you leave this month's salary too. I stood up, brushing off the loose threads from my apron. Also, the divorce papers must clearly state that it was you, Krushan, who initiated the divorce, and it has nothing to do with me. You, Krushan's expression changed. How could you do this? How about it? I tilted my head to look at him. You're the one who wants a divorce, not me forcing you. As a woman, I need a place to live, don't I? But Luna Sue is pregnant and needs a home more. Then go rent a place, I said, putting away the sewing basket. Or she can stay with her parents. Krushan's face turned red with anger. Lynn, don't go too far. It's you who's being unreasonable, I sneered. Coming in the middle of the night demanding a divorce and expecting me to leave with nothing. Commander Shan, do you take me for a fool? Truth be told, in my past life, I was indeed a fool. For love, I gave up my teaching job in the county town and followed him to this remote military base. For 3 years of marriage, I took meticulous care of his daily needs and managed the social dynamics of the military compound flawlessly. Half of the credit for his promotion from deputy company commander to regiment commander belongs to me. Yet in the end, for the sake of a White Lotus nurse, he abandoned me without hesitation. I know you hate me, but I don't hate you, I interrupted him. I just think that if we're going to part ways, it should be done cleanly and clearly. Krushan remained silent for a long time before finally nodding. Fine, the house is yours, but the salary too, I said firmly. Think about it. You suddenly bring up divorce. As a woman, I'll need to find a new job, I'll need some living expenses, won't I? But Luna Sue and I have to live too. That's none of my business. I turned and walked toward the kitchen. You young, educated folks shouldn't have trouble supporting yourselves. In the kitchen, ginseng chicken soup was still simmering, a dish I'd prepared especially to nourish him. Now it seems more fitting to keep the soup for myself. Behind me came the heavy footsteps of Krushan, followed by the sound of the door closing. I know he went to discuss it with Luna Sue. Holding the soup bowl, I slowly sipped the delicious chicken broth, feeling more relaxed than ever before. In my past life, I shed too many tears for him. In this life, I don't want to waste a single drop more. The moonlight outside the window was just right, casting dappled shadows on the plane trees in the military compound. Starting tomorrow, I will begin to reshape my life. This time, I will live for myself. Early the next morning, I heard Luna Sue coming to find Krushan. From the next room came the sound of a woman sobbing and a man comforting her, creating a scene of tender warmth. I was in the kitchen cooking porridge, stirring slowly with the spoon in my hand, my mind as calm as still water. Cruz, how could she be so unreasonable? Luna Sue's voice was soft and gentle, but even through the wall, I could hear every word clearly. She demands the house and the salary just like that, without any consideration for our difficulties. Luna, don't cry. Cruz's voice sounded helpless. I'll think of something. But Cruz, the baby in my belly can't wait any longer. Luna Sue cried even harder. If we can't be together properly soon, I really don't know what to do. Her acting skills are as superb as ever. In my past life, I was completely fooled by her pitiful appearance, thinking she was truly a kind and innocent girl. It wasn't until later that I learned she had been looking for military officer boyfriends ever since graduating from nursing school, dating 3 people in succession and breaking up with each one because their rank wasn't high enough. Cruz was her 4th target and also the highest ranking one. She put in a lot of effort to reel in this big fish. First, she deliberately arranged a chance encounter at the hospital, then took the initiative to care for Cruz when he fell ill, and finally climbed into his bed while I was away visiting my parents. The entire scheme was flawlessly calculated. The only unexpected thing was that Cruz was unwilling to abandon his lawful wife for her, so she had no choice but to fabricate a pregnancy lie to force him into divorce. Maybe I should go talk to El Lin, Luna Sue suddenly said. Perhaps if I apologized to her in person, she might soften a bit. No. Cruz's voice was urgent. Your current physical condition can't handle any stress. But Cruz, I carried the bowl of porridge out of the kitchen, deliberately making a lot of noise. The next room immediately fell silent. After a while, the sound of a door opening and footsteps could be heard. Clearly, Luna Sue had left. I slowly sipped the plain porridge, waiting for Cruz to come over and continue last night's conversation. Sure enough, he pushed the door open and came in within less than 10 minutes. Let's discuss this again. Cruz sat down at the table, looking somewhat haggard. The house isn't a problem, but the salary, could you ask for a little less? Why, I put down the bowl of porridge. Does Captain not earn much? No. It's just that Luna Sue needs proper nutrition now, and the medical expenses are quite high. Oh, I nodded. Then you should definitely pay me. What do you mean? Think about it. If I don't have living expenses, I'll have to report it to the organization. Right, I smiled at him. When the political commissar asks, how will you explain it? By saying you refused to give your wife living expenses because of your mistress. Cruz's face instantly turned pale. The military places the utmost importance on conduct issues. If news were to spread that he abandoned his wife and child, forget about promotion. He wouldn't even be able to keep his current position as regiment commander. Don't be like this. His voice trembled slightly. Let's part on good terms and not make this too ugly. I'm not making a scene. I blinked innocently. You're the one who asked for a divorce. I'm just making some reasonable requests. But with demands like these, how can Luna Sue and I live? That's none of my business. I stood up and started clearing the dishes. Since you had the courage to be together, you should have the resolve to face the consequences. Cruz remained silent for a long time before finally gritting his teeth and saying, fine, I'll give you half of the salary, all of it, I insisted firmly, and it's for this month, not any future ones. El Lin. He finally couldn't hold back and slammed the table. Don't push your luck, it's you who keep pushing your luck, I said coldly, staring at him. Cruz, search your conscience. How have I treated you these past 3 years? He opened his mouth but couldn't utter a word. Over these 3 years, I've indeed been a flawless wife. I did the laundry, cooked meals, took care of daily needs, and even helped him navigate various social relationships. My reputation among the officers' families was impeccable. I have done nothing wrong to you. You were the one who betrayed our marriage first. My voice was calm, but each word cut like a knife. Now you want a divorce, and I agree, but it must be on my terms. If you don't agree, then we won't divorce. No divorce. Cruz was stunned. That's right, no divorce. I smiled. I'm in no hurry anyway. I have plenty of time to drag this out, as Luna Sue's belly grows day by day. Let's see who gets more desperate then. In truth, I knew perfectly well that Luna Sue wasn't pregnant at all. The reason they were in such a hurry to divorce was because there was a deadline. Luna Sue has already secured a job at a provincial hospital and must transfer there within 2 months as a military officer's family member, or the opportunity will be lost. So no matter what, they will agree to my terms. Sure enough, Crucian's expression changed several times before he finally nodded and said, "Fine, it's all up to you." I felt secretly pleased, but on the surface, I maintained my calm demeanor. "Then let's go to the Civil Affairs Department tomorrow to complete the procedures." "Tomorrow, so soon? Of course it's urgent." I looked at him with a half smile. "Didn't you say Luna Sue is pregnant? The sooner we marry, the sooner her reputation will be cleared." Crucian had nothing to say and could only nod in agreement. Watching him walk away dejectedly, I felt particularly pleased. In my past life, I humbled myself for him for 3 years. In this life, it's his turn to pay the price for his choices. On the way to the Civil Affairs Department, Luna Sue also came along. She was wearing a light pink dress with a slender waist, not looking pregnant at all. However, people in 1975 had limited medical knowledge, and coupled with her superb acting skills, she managed to deceive them successfully. "Sister Lynn," Luna Sue approached me on her own. Her eyes reddened. "I'm sorry. It's all my fault." "It is indeed your fault," I replied coolly, without any intention of being polite. She clearly didn't expect me to be so direct and paused for a moment before continuing. "I know you hate me, but Cruz and I truly love each other." "Oh," I nodded, and then, "I hope you can understand us. After all, feelings can't be forced." "I do understand," I smiled. "That's why I agreed to the divorce, isn't it?" Luna Sue was stunned again. All the arguments she had prepared were completely useless. According to her imagination, I should have cried and made a scene, should have fought with her for attention, and then she could have acted magnanimous and tolerant, winning more of Crucian's affection. But my reaction completely caught her off guard. "Lynn sister, you really don't hate me?" she tentatively asked. "Why would I hate you?" I glanced at her. "You're not someone important anyway." The impact of these words was devastating, and Luna Sue's face instantly turned red. She wanted to retort but couldn't find a suitable reason. "Though I am quite curious," I continued, "what made you fall for Crucian? Just because he's the team leader?" "No." Luna Sue hurriedly denied. "I truly love him." "What do you love about him?" I asked with great interest. "His character, or his looks?" Luna Sue opened her mouth but couldn't find the right words to respond, because the truth was, she didn't love Crucian as a person. She only loved his position and future prospects. "We're truly in love," was all she could repeat. "If you truly love each other, then live your life well." I patted her on the shoulder. "But let me give you a piece of advice. You should be careful with Crucian." "What do you mean?" "He could abandon me for you, and in the future, he could abandon you for someone else," I said meaningfully. "After all, it's easier to change the rivers and mountains than a person's nature." Luna Sue's expression changed. She clearly hadn't considered this possibility. "Sister Lynn, don't try to drive a wedge between us." "Drive a wedge?" I blinked innocently. "I'm just stating the facts. If a man can betray his lawful wife, what makes you think you're special?" These words pierced Luna Sue's heart like needles, leaving her unable to retort, because deep down, she actually shared the same fear. It was just something she usually refused to acknowledge. Crucian walked ahead, not hearing our conversation, still secretly excited about the upcoming life of freedom. The clerk at the Civil Affairs office was a middle-aged woman when she saw the 3 of us coming together to file for divorce. A gossipy expression appeared on her face. "Comrades, are you sure you want to divorce?" She looked at me, then at Crucian. "Can't any conflicts be resolved through discussion?" "No conflicts," I smiled brightly. "He wants to marry this comrade, so we're divorcing by mutual agreement." The clerk's eyes immediately filled with contempt as he glared fiercely at Crucian. In this day and age, abandoning one's wife and children is morally condemnable. Crucian's face turned bright red, but he didn't dare say anything more. "Have you both thought this through? Once the divorce certificate is issued, there's no going back." "I've thought it through." I nodded. "Please hurry. I have other matters to attend to." Although the clerk looked down on Crucian, the formalities still had to be completed. She took out the forms for us to fill in and then inquired in detail about the division of assets. "The house goes to the wife, and the husband's salary this month is also given to her. The clerk seemed surprised. In that case, do you agree, sir? Crucian gritted his teeth and nodded. All right, then we'll write it like this. The clerk recorded on the form, then looked up at Crucian. Comrade. I still have to advise you, family responsibilities are very important. Don't be so quick to abandon your wife who's shared your hardships. This made Crucian even more embarrassed, and Luna Sue also felt extremely awkward. Only I was in a cheerful mood and even chatted with the clerk for a bit. You're right, big sister. A man should have a sense of responsibility. The clerk's attitude toward me improved noticeably, and the paperwork was processed much faster. Half an hour later, the divorce certificate was ready. I took the divorce certificate and looked at it. It clearly stated divorce initiated by the husband, Crucian, which left me quite satisfied. Comrade Shin, Comrade Sue, I wish you happiness. I smiled and bid them farewell. If you have time, remember to invite me to your wedding banquet. With that, I strode away, leaving the two of them staring at each other in bewilderment. As I walked out of the Civil Affairs office, I felt an overwhelming sense of relief. As if a heavy shackle had been lifted from me, the feeling of freedom is truly wonderful. Returning to the military compound, I immediately became the center of attention. Although we handled the divorce with great discretion, news still spread like wildfire. After all, you can't wrap fire in paper. I heard you and Cruz got divorced. Aunt Wang, our neighbor, took my hand with a concerned look. What happened? He found someone new, so we split, I replied frankly. Without any attempt to hide the truth, Aunt Wang's eyes widened in disbelief. Really, Cruz isn't that kind of person. Appearances can be deceiving. Who knows? I smiled, but it's for the best. Better to find out early and move on. But what will you do alone? Aunt Wang asked worriedly. Should I introduce you to someone? Not for now. I'd like some time to myself. The news quickly spread throughout the military compound, and everyone's opinion of Crucian underwent a dramatic change. Originally respected for his strong work ethic and upright character, he was now seen as a heartless man, especially among the officers' families. He was met with even greater disdain. Who would have thought Colonel Shin was this kind of person? You really can't judge a book by its cover. That Nurse Sue is no good either, always seducing married men. Lin does have backbone, anyone else would have been crying by now. These rumors quickly reached Crucian's ears, significantly undermining his authority in the military. The political commissar even had a special talk with him, asking what exactly was going on. Crucian could only grit his teeth and claim it was due to emotional incompatibility. But the political commissar clearly didn't buy it. Comrade Cruz, as an officer, your personal conduct affects the image of the military, the political commissar said sternly. I hope you can handle your personal matters properly and not let them interfere with your work. This was essentially a warning, which put immense pressure on Crucian. Meanwhile, Luna Sue wasn't faring any better. The nurses at the hospital whispered and pointed at her, making her feel extremely uncomfortable. Nurse Sue, I heard you're getting married to Commander Shin. Someone asked deliberately. Yes, congratulations on your leap from nurse to commander's wife. The words sounded like congratulations, but the sourness and sarcasm in the tone were unmistakable to anyone. Luna Sue could only force herself to respond. Though she felt deeply uncomfortable inside, she had thought marrying Crucian would bring her a decent life. But she never expected to endure so much criticism. What she couldn't bear the most was that Crucian's attitude toward her had also changed. He used to be gentle and considerate, but now he was always absent-minded and sometimes even lost his temper for no reason. Cruz, what's wrong? Luna Sue asked cautiously. Did I do something wrong? No. Crucian's tone was cold. I'm just a bit tired. Let me massage your shoulders then. Luna Sue wanted to appear more considerate. No need. Crucian pushed her hand away. I'd like some time alone. A wave of disappointment and unease washed over Luna Sue's heart. She began to wonder if Crucian regretted his decision and wanted to reconcile with his ex-wife. This suspicion kept her up at night, yet she didn't dare to ask him directly. As for me, my days were quite leisurely. Without the burden of taking care of a husband, I could do whatever I liked every day. Reading books, painting, listening to the radio, or chatting with neighbors. Life was fulfilling. Most importantly, I began making plans for the future. China in 1975 was undergoing tremendous changes. With many opportunities on the horizon, I needed to prepare in advance. First was studying. I had to brush up on both English and professional knowledge. Next is work. I've already used connections to secure a teaching position in the county town and will soon be able to return to work. Lastly, investments. Although it's not the right time yet, I've started paying attention to some promising industries. With the experience from my past life, I believe this life can be lived better. A month later, Cruz Shen and Luna Su got married. The wedding was very simple, with only a few close colleagues invited. Even the military district commander didn't attend. At the time, this was quite a loss of face, as it was customary for the commander to make a symbolic appearance at the wedding of a regimental-level officer. But under the current circumstances, the commanders clearly didn't want to get involved. I was packing my luggage to move to the county town when I heard the news. I've decided not to sell the house for now, keeping it for future rental or personal use. Are you really leaving? Sister Wang couldn't bear to see me go. Isn't it nice living here? It's easy to encounter awkward situations living here, I said with a smile. It's more comfortable back in the county town. That's true. After all, it's hard to avoid running into people you know. Sister Wang nodded. But if things don't work out for you outside, you can always come back anytime. Thank you, Sister Wang. I'll remember that. After packing my belongings, I hired a carriage to transport my things. Just as I was about to leave, Cruz Shen appeared. He was dressed in casual clothes, looking somewhat haggard and noticeably thinner than a month ago. Are you moving out? He stood at the door, his tone somewhat complicated. Yeah, I'm leaving right away. I continued packing without stopping to look at him. Why didn't you tell me? Why should I tell you? I retorted. We're already divorced. I don't need to report to you about where I go. Cruz Shen was silent for a moment, then said, can we talk? There's nothing to talk about. I placed the last piece of clothing into the suitcase. You're a married man now, and I'm a single woman. It's not appropriate for us to be alone together. I know you hate me. I told you, I don't hate you. I cut him off. I just don't see the need for any further contact. These words hurt Cruz Shen more than hatred, because they meant I had completely let go of this relationship. After all, we were once husband and wife, ex-husband and ex-wife. I corrected him. And it was you who initiated the divorce. Cruz Shen's expression darkened, but he had no retort. At this moment, Luna Su appeared, wearing the red coat from her wedding day, holding onto Cruz Shen's arm. Cruz, so you're here. She looked surprised when she saw me packing my luggage. Sister Lin, are you moving? Yes, I'm going back to work in the county town. I nodded politely. Congratulations on your wedding. Thank you. Luna Su smiled somewhat awkwardly. Sister Lin, if you encounter any difficulties outside, you can always come back to us. The words sounded beautiful, making her appear magnanimous and tolerant, but I detected the hypocrisy beneath them. There won't be any difficulties. I smiled. I'm doing just fine on my own. Luna Su's smile froze for a moment. She clearly wished I was struggling, as that would make her victory more meaningful. That's good. She clung tightly to Cruz Shen's arm. We'll be very happy too. I wish you well, I said sincerely, and indeed, I did wish them well, for I knew their good days would not last long. Luna Su would soon reveal her true colors, and Cruz Shen would pay the price for his choice. The coachman urged me that it was time to leave. I picked up the last box and prepared to go. Cruz Shen suddenly called out to me, "Take care." I turned back to look at him and noticed a complex emotion in his eyes. You too, I nodded, then resolutely walked toward the carriage. From behind came Luna Su's voice, "Cruz, let's go home." I didn't look back because it was no longer my home. The carriage slowly left the military compound, and as I watched the familiar buildings fade into the distance, I felt no trace of nostalgia. A new life was about to begin, and I was filled with anticipation for the future. I had already secured a teaching position in the county town, allowing me to stand at the podium once again and do what I love. Moreover, with the experience from my past life, I know what will happen next and can prepare in advance. In this life, I want to live brilliantly and freely. After returning to the county town, I quickly adapted to the new life. The principal of County No. 1 High School is an old friend of my father's, who understands my situation well and is also very sympathetic. Elle, you've been wronged. The principal patted my shoulder. But it's for the best, now you can focus on teaching. Thank you for your concern, Principal, I said sincerely. Don't mention it. We all know your capabilities. You were the best teacher in our school back then. Walking back into the classroom and seeing the eager students before me, I felt an unprecedented sense of fulfillment. This is what I truly enjoy doing. I teach high school English, and in this era where foreign language teachers are scarce, my skills are considered quite good. The students really enjoy my classes because I don't just teach textbook knowledge. I also share some extracurricular content. Teacher, why is your English so good? A student once asked curiously. I believe English will be very useful in the future. I replied with a smile, study hard now. And it will definitely come in handy for you later. The students at that time probably couldn't imagine that just a few years later, English would become a compulsory subject in the college entrance exams and would grow extremely important after the reform and opening up. But I knew, which is why I place special emphasis on teaching English. Besides teaching, I also began learning some new skills, for example, financial knowledge. Because I knew there would be many investment opportunities in the future, for example, legal knowledge, as it is crucial in the business world, I also started paying attention to international affairs and economic trends. Although information channels were limited, I tried my best to gather all the materials I could find. My colleagues found it strange. Why would a female teacher be interested in such things? Elle, why are you studying these things? Teacher Lee from the same office asked. Women should still care about family and children. I don't have a family or children right now, I replied with a smile. I need to find something to do. Then you should hurry up and find someone to marry and have children. That's the real priority. No rush. When the time is right, it will happen naturally. I'm actually very clear in my heart that I don't plan to get married again in the short term. My past experiences have given me a different perspective on marriage. And I'd rather focus on building my career first. Moreover, with my current standards, most men simply don't meet my expectations. After experiencing Cruikshan's betrayal, my requirements for men have become very high. They must not only be capable but also have strong character. Such people are hard to come by, and I would rather stay single than settle for less. Life went on peacefully like this until 3 months later, when I received unexpected news. Luna Sue had a miscarriage. The news was conveyed to me in a letter from Sister Wang, who described the incident in detail in her letter. Elle, you probably wouldn't guess, but Luna Sue actually had a miscarriage. That day she was crying her heart out in the hospital, and Cruikshan was frantic with worry. But strangely, some people at the hospital said she was never pregnant in the first place. This whole thing has caused quite a stir. Reading this, I couldn't help but laugh. Luna Sue has finally been exposed. And even earlier than I expected. In our past life, she miscarried only after being married for half a year. This time, it happened 3 months ahead of schedule. Perhaps it was because my attitude was too calm, making her uneasy, so she was eager to rid herself of this lie. But what she didn't expect was that exposing the lie now would only make her more passive. Sure enough, in the subsequent letter, Sister Wang wrote, "Now everyone is talking about this matter. Some say Luna Sue has been lying from the start, and Cruikshan was deceived. Others say she was indeed pregnant but miscarried due to being too weak. Anyway, rumors are spreading wildly in the military district, and Cruikshan can't even show his face anymore. I can imagine how Cruikshan must be feeling now. He must have started doubting Luna Sue, if Luna Sue wasn't really pregnant. Then he was deceived. He abandoned his wife for a lie. This kind of blow is devastating for any man, especially for someone as proud as Cruikshan." A month later, I received another letter from Sister Wang. This time, the news was even more shocking. Elle, you'll never guess what happened. Cruikshan and Luna Sue had a huge fight. Luna Sue was beaten black and blue, and now she's demanding a divorce. I frowned. Cruikshan actually hit a woman. That was something I hadn't anticipated. In his previous life, though he was cold-hearted, he never showed any violent tendencies. Reading further, it said that Cruikshan discovered Luna Sue had never been pregnant and that she was secretly seeing another man. That day, when Cruikshan came home from work, he happened to catch Luna Sue and a male doctor in the house, hugging and clinging to each other. Cruikshan went berserk on the spot, beating up the male doctor before turning his anger on Luna Sue. This turn of events truly took me by surprise. Luna Sue actually cheated so quickly. It seems she truly is a fickle woman, unable to restrain herself so soon after marriage. Now Luna Sue is staying in the hospital, saying she wants to divorce Crucian. Crucian has agreed, but demands that Luna Sue leave with nothing. The two are fighting fiercely. Even the political commissar has stepped in to mediate. Everyone says it's retribution. What they did to you is now being done to them. After reading the letter, I let out a long sigh. Truthfully, I don't take pleasure in Crucian's misfortune, because this outcome benefits no one. If he had cherished our marriage back then, he wouldn't have come to this. But this also proves a truth. What goes around comes around. Crucian left me for Luna Sue, and now Luna Sue has left him for someone else. This is karma. Another week passed, and I received an unexpected phone call. It was from Crucian. It's me. Came his hoarse voice over the phone. What's the matter? I asked calmly. I want to see you. There are some things I need to say to you. I don't think it's necessary. Please. His voice sounded exhausted. Just one meeting. I promise I won't bother you. I hesitated for a moment, but eventually agreed. Not because I still have feelings for him, but out of curiosity. I wanted to know what he would become after going through all these things. The agreed meeting place was a small tea house in the county town, very quiet and suitable for conversation. When I saw Crucian, I almost didn't recognize him. He's lost a lot of weight, his face looks haggard, and the sparkle in his eyes is gone. He looks several years older overall. Thank you for agreeing to see me. He stood up to pull out the chair, but I waved him off and sat down myself. Go ahead. What is it? I want to apologize to you. His voice was soft. I'm sorry. What's the point of saying this now? I picked up the teacup. It's all in the past, I know, but I had to say it. There was pain in Crucian's eyes. Only now do I realize what I've lost. What you lost was just a free nanny, I said coldly. Now you have a new one, nothing to regret. No. Crucian became agitated. You're not just a nanny, you're my wife, the best woman in the world. It's a pity you realized it too late. I set down the teacup, and I'm not a good woman either. A good woman is someone like Luna Sue. At the mention of Luna Sue, Crucian's expression darkened. She deceived me, he said through gritted teeth. She lied to me from start to finish. So what? I looked at him. What do you want to say? I want to say I was wrong. Crucian's voice trembled. If I could do it over, I would never choose to leave you. But there are no ifs. I stood up. Crucian, let the past stay in the past. You have your path, and I have mine. From now on, we go our separate ways. Please give me another chance. Crucian also stood up, trying to grab my hand. I quickly stepped back. Impossible. Why? We can start over, because I don't love you anymore. I looked at him calmly. Crucian, do you know what it means when water is spilled? Some things, once lost, can never be recovered. These words pierced Crucian's heart like a knife, and his face instantly turned deathly pale. But we had such wonderful memories. Those memories were destroyed by your own hands. I picked up my bag to leave. Crucian, you're on your own now. He shouted loudly behind me. I didn't look back and walked straight out of the tea house. The sun is shining brightly outside, yet my mood is complicated. Seeing Crucian in his current state doesn't bring me the satisfaction I imagined. Instead, there's a faint sense of sorrow. If he had been a little more rational back then, if he could have resisted temptation, our ending might have been completely different. But there are no ifs in this world. What's missed is missed. After returning from the tea house, I put the matter out of my mind. Crucian's pain and regret had nothing to do with me. I had my own life to live. 1976 was a special year, with many significant events about to unfold, and I needed to prepare for them. First, regarding work, my performance at school was becoming increasingly outstanding. Not only did the students like me, but the leadership also held me in high regard. Your teaching methods are very innovative. The principal praised me during a meeting. We should promote your experience. Thank you, principal. I will continue to work hard. Actually, my teaching methods aren't really innovative. They're just applications of some experiences from my past life. For example, scenario-based teaching and interactive learning were already well-established methods in my time. But in 1976, these were indeed considered novelties. In addition to teaching, I also started a part-time job at the county's night school, teaching English to adults. Those students were all ambitious young people with dreams, and their enthusiasm for learning deeply moved me. Teacher, I heard English will be very important in the future. Is that true? One student asked me. It's true, I affirmed. The more you learn now, the more useful it will be in the future. In truth, I knew that in just 2 years, English would become an extremely sought-after skill. Those who persist in learning now will reap great benefits in the future. As life gradually returned to normal, I began to consider some long-term plans, for example, saving money, because I know there will soon be investment opportunities. For example, networking. I've started consciously building relationships with people who have potential, and for education, I'm preparing for self-study exams to improve my academic qualifications. Just as I was focusing on my career, another unexpected piece of news arrived. Luna Sue actually found her way to the county town, wanting to see me. Teacher Lynn, there's a woman named Luna Sue looking for you outside, the school security guard came to inform me. I was somewhat surprised. What could Luna Sue want with me? When I reached the school gate, I saw a haggard-looking woman. She was wearing an old coat, with faint scars on her face, looking quite down and out. Is this the once glamorous Nurse Sue? Sister Lynn, Luna Sue burst into tears upon seeing me. I've finally found you. What do you want from me? I kept my distance, speaking in a calm tone. I want to apologize to you. Luna Sue wept bitterly. It's all my fault. I harmed you and also harmed Cruz. What's done is done. There's no need to apologize. No, I must say it. Luna Sue wiped her tears. Only now do I realize that Cruz has always loved you in his heart. I wasn't interested in this, but still asked, so what? I beg you to go back to him. Luna Sue suddenly knelt down. Please save him. I was startled and quickly helped her up. What are you doing? Let's talk properly. Cruz is in great pain now, drinking heavily every day. And it's affecting his work. Luna Sue grabbed my hand. Only you can save him. It has nothing to do with me. I pulled my hand free from hers. His suffering is of his own making. But Sister Lynn, after all, you shared 3 years of marital love. That 3-year bond ended the moment he asked for a divorce. I cut her off. Luna Sue, don't dwell on this matter anymore, but I truly feel guilty. If it weren't for me, you wouldn't have gotten divorced. If it weren't you, it would have been someone else, I said calmly. A man who truly loves his wife wouldn't be so easily tempted away. Luna Sue was left speechless by my words. Moreover, I continued, are you really coming to me for Cruz's sake, or just to ease your own guilt? This made Luna Sue flush with anger and embarrassment, but she had no retort, because I hit the nail on the head about what she was thinking. She really came to me just to ease her guilt. Not because she genuinely cared about Cruz. Anyway, let's just leave it at that, I said, preparing to leave. I won't get involved in your affairs anymore. Sister Lynn, Luna Sue called out from behind, do you really not love him at all anymore? I stopped in my tracks and glanced back at her. Luna Sue, love isn't something you can have when you want it and discard when you don't, I said calmly. When one person completely breaks another's heart, love dies and never comes back to life. With that, I walked into the school, leaving Luna Sue standing alone at the gate. I knew she wouldn't give up easily, but my stance was already clear. Let bygones be bygones. I won't look back. After Luna Sue left, I thought the matter was over, but unexpectedly, Cruz appeared again. This time, he didn't ask to meet me but came directly to the school. Teacher Lynn, there's an officer outside looking for you, the guard announced once more. I frowned and walked to the window to take a look outside. Sure enough, it was Cruz, standing at the school gate in his military uniform, drawing a crowd of onlookers. I didn't want to cause too much of a scene at school, so I had no choice but to go out and meet him. What are you doing here? My tone was far from friendly. Let's talk. There was a pleading look in Cruz's eyes. We've already talked. There's nothing left to say. Please, just one last time. Seeing the growing crowd of onlookers, I had no choice but to nod in agreement. We walked to a small park nearby and found a quiet spot to sit down. Luna Sue came to see you, didn't she? Cruz was the first to speak. Yes, I nodded. She asked me to come back to you. I didn't ask her to go to you. Cruz quickly explained. She took it upon herself. I know. I gazed at the distant trees. But it doesn't matter. I know I hurt you. But, Crucian, I cut him off. What exactly are you trying to say? I want to say, let's start over. He turned to face me. I promise I'll never make the same mistake again. What makes you so sure? I retorted. Can you guarantee you won't meet a woman more beautiful than Luna Sue in the future? Can you promise you'll never be tempted again? Crucian opened his mouth but couldn't speak, because he truly couldn't make such a promise. See, you don't even have confidence in yourself. I stood up. In that case, what's left for us to discuss? But I truly love you. Crucian also stood up, speaking excitedly. You don't love me. You love the way I treat you. I calmly analyzed. When Luna Sue was good to you, you thought you loved her. Now that she's betrayed you, you think you love me. In the end, you only love yourself. My words left Crucian pale, because he knew I was telling the truth. No, I really, forget it. Don't say any more. I waved my hand. Crucian, think it over carefully. Love isn't child's play. It's not something you can just start over whenever you want. Then tell me, what do I need to do for you to forgive me? Crucian grabbed my arm. I'd do anything for you. Let go of me. I pulled my arm free. What I want isn't for you to do things for me. What I wanted was for you not to have betrayed me in the first place, but that's impossible now. Enough. I raised my voice. Crucian, stop bothering me. I've made it very clear. There's no chance for us anymore. The words were harsh, and everyone around heard them. Casting curious glances our way, Crucian's face turned bright red, but he still refused to give up. I don't believe you have no feelings for me at all, he said stubbornly. We had such wonderful times together. Those beautiful times have been destroyed by your own hands. My tone turned icy. Crucian, do you know what it means to mend a broken mirror, even if the pieces can be put back together? The cracks will always remain, but, no buts. I turned and walked away. I'll say it one last time, there's no chance for us anymore. Give up on this idea. Crucian's shouts came from behind, but I didn't look back. I've done all I can. If he still doesn't understand, then it's no longer my concern. Back at school, I noticed my colleagues whispering among themselves. Clearly, the incident had already spread. Was that officer your ex-husband? Teacher Lee asked curiously. Yes. I admitted frankly. Is he trying to get back together? Yes, but I turned him down. Why? He seems like a good catch. No matter how good the conditions are, character matters more. I briefly explained before heading back to the office to continue working. Actually, I know that in this day and age, many people don't understand my choice. Most women would think that as long as a man is willing to come back, they should forgive him. But I don't think that way. I believe that a person's dignity is more important than anything else, and one should not compromise easily just because of loneliness or other reasons. Moreover, I have confidence in the future. I believe I can live well without relying on any man. Half a year passed just like that, and my life gradually stabilized. At school, I have become a key teacher. Not only leading the advanced class but also overseeing the English teaching and research group. At the night school, my student base keeps growing, and everyone highly recognizes my teaching abilities. I also started writing some educational papers, which were published in the county's educational magazine. Life was fulfilling and meaningful, and I felt very satisfied. During this time, occasional news about Crucian would reach me. It was said that he did go through a period of being quiet, which affected his work and nearly cost him his position. Later, with the help of the political commissar, he managed to pull himself together again. However, according to Sister Wang, he never found a new partner and lived alone in that apartment. Occasionally, people would see him standing by the window, lost in thought, though no one knew what was on his mind. As for these bits of news, I listened to them in passing and didn't take them to heart. Everyone must take responsibility for their own choices, and Crucian is no exception. I was somewhat surprised by the news about Luna Sue, though she actually married that male doctor and is said to be doing quite well. It seems she is indeed a very practical woman who won't let so-called emotions hold her back. That's fine too. At least it proves she's no longer pestering Crucian. In the spring of 1977, an even greater opportunity arrived. The college entrance exams were about to be reinstated. This news sent the entire society into a frenzy, as countless young people saw hope for changing their destinies. As a teacher, I am naturally happy for my students, but more importantly, I realize this is a tremendous business opportunity. Soon there will be countless people needing tutoring, reference books, and various study materials, and I happen to be in a perfect position to meet these demands. I started preparing a tutoring class specifically designed to provide English coaching for students preparing for the college entrance exam. At the same time, I also contacted some publishers to compile English teaching materials. With the experience from my past life, I knew exactly which content was most useful and which methods were most effective. This knowledge is simply a goldmine in the current era. What have you been busy with lately? Teacher Lee asked curiously. Noticing me writing and sketching every day, preparing some teaching materials, I replied without looking up. Teaching materials? For the students? For teachers too? I smiled. The college entrance exams are about to resume, and everyone needs to improve their skills. Do you think the restoration of the college entrance examination is a good thing? Of course it's a good thing. I put down my pen and said earnestly, it gives young people a fair chance to compete, allowing them to change their fate through their own efforts. Teacher Lee nodded. That's true, but the competition will surely be intense. Intense competition is good. Only then can truly talented individuals be selected. Deep down, I knew that the reinstatement of the college entrance examination was not just an educational reform, but the beginning of a broader societal transformation. From then on, China would enter a brand new era where the value of knowledge would be recognized like never before. As for me, I was determined to seize the opportunity at the dawn of this era and lay a solid foundation for my future. The preparations for the tutoring class were progressing smoothly. I rented a classroom at the County Cultural Center, planning to officially start the classes during the summer break. After the news spread, people came in a continuous stream to sign up. Not only were there recent high school graduates, but also many young adults from society, and even some older individuals. Teacher, I'm already 30 years old, can I still take the college entrance exam? A middle-aged man asked me. Of course you can, I encouraged him. As long as you have the determination, age is not a problem. But my foundation is very weak, and my English is practically at zero level. It's okay, we'll start teaching from the very basics. I patted him on the shoulder. Believe in yourself, anything is possible. Looking at the eager eyes of these students, a warm feeling welled up in my heart. This is the power of the times. This is the power of hope. These people are willing to make every effort to change their fate, and this spirit deeply moves me. I secretly resolved to use my knowledge to help them achieve their dreams. Just as I was fully immersed in my work, Crucian reappeared in my life. But this time, he wasn't here to pester me. He came to enroll in the tutoring class. Teacher Lin, he stood before me, his gaze somewhat complicated. I'd like to sign up for English lessons. I was taken aback, not expecting to see him here. Are you preparing for the college entrance exam? I asked, puzzled. No, it's for work. Crucian explained. The military district is selecting a group of officers for advanced studies at military academies, and they need to pass an English test. I nodded. It was indeed a reasonable reason. Then sign up like the other students. I handed him an application form. The tuition fee is 50 yuan. Crucian took the form and began filling it out carefully. I noticed his hands were trembling slightly, clearly indicating his inner turmoil. Teacher Lin. He hesitated after filling out the form, then said, I can promise not to disrupt your teaching. The subtext of his words was that he wouldn't use class time to pester me. I know. I put away the registration form. As long as you study seriously, I'll teach you seriously. A flicker of gratitude passed through Crucian's eyes before he nodded and left. Watching his retreating figure, a mix of emotions churned in my heart. To say I didn't care would be a lie. After all, we had shared 3 years as husband and wife. But that was all there was to it. I wouldn't change my stance just because of this old affection. The tutoring class officially began. And Crucian indeed kept his promise. Listening attentively during class and not initiating conversation with me afterward, he sat in the last row of the classroom, taking notes diligently, just like an ordinary student. If I hadn't known the inside story, no one could have detected the relationship between us. This situation lasted for a month until an unexpected incident occurred one day. That day, while I was explaining grammar, a student suddenly stood up and asked a question. Teacher, are you married? This question caught me off guard, as it was unrelated to the study material. Why do you ask? I countered. Because I think someone as outstanding as you must have many admirers, the student said somewhat shyly. I just wanted to know more about you. The classroom instantly fell silent, with everyone looking at me. I noticed Cruikshan's body visibly stiffen, his eyes fixed intently on me. My personal circumstances have nothing to do with academics, I said calmly. Let's focus on the lesson. But teacher, if you're not married yet, I'd like to pursue you, the student mustered the courage to say. As soon as these words were spoken, a wave of good-natured laughter rippled through the classroom. I glanced at the student, a young man in his 20s with a rather refined appearance. A technician from a factory in the county. Xiao Zhong, I'm several years older than you, I said with a smile. I don't care about age, Xiao Zhong replied earnestly. I think you're the most captivating woman I've ever met. The words were spoken so sincerely that I was somewhat moved, but I also noticed that Cruikshan's face had turned very grim, his hands clenched tightly into fists. Thank you for your kindness, I replied politely, but I'm currently focused on my career and haven't considered personal matters for the time being. What about later? Xiao Zhong persisted, unwilling to give up. We'll talk about the future later, I ended the topic. Now let's continue with the class. After class, Xiao Zhong came to me again, saying he wanted to treat me to a meal. I was about to refuse when Cruikshan suddenly walked over. Comrade Xiao Zhong, Professor Lin is very busy, don't disturb her. His tone was somewhat cold and firm. Xiao Zhong looked at Cruikshan strangely. Comrade, what does this have to do with you? Cruikshan opened his mouth, wanting to say something but then swallowed his words. Because he truly had no right to stop others from pursuing me. It's nothing, I was just making a suggestion, he finally said. Xiao Zhong was even more confused, but didn't ask further questions. He extended the invitation to me again, and I politely declined once more. Watching Xiao Zhong walk away disappointed, Cruikshan's expression finally softened a bit. He tried to speak to me. Comrade Shan, any questions about the study material? I deliberately adopted a businesslike tone. Cruikshan gritted his teeth. No, then I'll take my leave. I gathered the teaching materials and left the classroom. Behind me came the heavy sigh of Cruikshan. I know he's in pain, but it's not my fault. If he had cherished our relationship back then, he wouldn't be in such a passive position now. For the next few days, Xiao Zhong came to pick me up after work every day. Although I declined his invitations each time, he remained very patient. Professor Lin, I understand you don't know me well yet, he said sincerely. I can wait until you're willing to give me a chance. This kind of persistence moved me a little, but it also troubled me somewhat, because I really have no intention of dating, at least not in the short term. And every time Cruikshan saw Xiao Zhong coming to pick me up, his expression turned very unpleasant. Once, he even spaced out in class. When I called on him to answer a question, he didn't hear me at all. Comrade Cruikshan. I raised my voice to call him. He jolted awake, hurriedly standing up. Teacher, what did you say? Light laughter rippled through the classroom. Everyone felt this comrade officer was acting unusually today. I asked what the tense of this sentence is. I repeated the question. Cruikshan looked at the sentence on the blackboard, stammering and unable to give an answer. Sit down, and come to my office after class, I said somewhat angrily. After class. Cruikshan came to my temporarily set-up office. What's wrong with you today? I questioned. You weren't paying attention in class and disrupted the other students' learning. Sorry. Cruikshan lowered his head. I've been a bit upset lately. Being upset shouldn't affect your studies, I said sternly. If you can't focus in class, don't come. No, I will focus, Cruikshan said urgently. Please give me another chance. Seeing his pleading expression, my heart softened a little. All right. But this is the last time, I warned him. If anything like this happens again, I won't be so lenient. Thank you for your mercy, Cruikshan said gratefully. He turned to leave but stopped and asked, Professor Lin, may I ask you a question? What question? Do you really not hate me at all anymore? This question left me stunned. Hate? I thought about it carefully and realized there really isn't any hate left. Time is the best remedy. Even the deepest wounds will slowly heal. I don't hate anymore, I answered truthfully, but I don't love either. This statement pained Crucian more than hatred, because hatred at least indicated there were still feelings, whereas not loving meant complete estrangement. I understand, he said in a low voice. Thank you for your honesty. With that, he left, his figure looking very lonely. As I watched his departing figure, a wave of complex emotions welled up in my heart. Perhaps this is better for everyone. At least we can be honest with each other. One, the tutoring business is thriving, and I've opened another beginners class specifically for students with no prior knowledge. Meanwhile, the English textbook I've been writing has also made progress with the publisher. The editor is very interested in my textbook, finding the content innovative and the methods practical. Mr. Lin, if this set of teaching materials you've created gets published, it will surely be very popular. The editor said over the phone. When can it be published? I asked with concern. At the earliest, next spring. After all, the printing factory's workload is quite heavy right now. I nodded. This timeline was still acceptable. Next spring is just the right time for college entrance exam registration. Perfect timing. In addition to textbooks, I've also started considering opening more tutoring classes, not just English, but also subjects like math, Chinese, physics, and others can be taught. Of course, I can't teach all subjects alone, so I'll need to find some suitable teachers. I started looking for candidates at the county's middle schools and soon found several promising ones. Among them was a math teacher named Zhao Ming, who was not only highly skilled in his profession but also had excellent character. Teacher Lin, your idea is great. Zhao Ming expressed interest after hearing my plan. There's indeed a need for such tutoring classes now. Would you be willing to collaborate? I asked. Of course I'm willing. Zhao Ming nodded. But I have one condition. What condition? I'd like to be paid based on performance rather than a fixed salary. This was a very reasonable request, and I agreed immediately. Soon, our tutoring school began to take shape. 4 subjects, English, math, Chinese, and physics, were taught by 6 teachers across 3 classes. Though modest in size, it was considered quite impressive at the time. What pleased me most was the students' high enthusiasm for learning and the excellent results they achieved. 80% of the first batch of students who took the college entrance exam were admitted to universities. This achievement caused a sensation in the county, and our tutoring school gained great fame as a result. Teacher Lin, you're truly amazing, exclaimed a student who was admitted to a teacher's college excitedly. Without your help, I would never have been able to get into university. This is the result of your own hard work, I replied modestly. I merely provided some guidance. No, your method is truly effective. Another student also said, we all want to thank you. Seeing the excitement of these young people filled my heart with a sense of accomplishment. This feeling of helping others change their destiny is more satisfying than anything else. However, success has also brought some unexpected problems. For example, the emergence of competitors. Other people in the county also started running tutoring classes, and some even deliberately slandered us. I heard that Teacher Lin has a messy personal life. She's divorced. Yeah, can a woman like that really teach students well? These malicious rumors, though vicious, have indeed influenced the judgment of some parents. A few parents of students transferred their children to other tutoring classes as a result. I don't really mind this, because I believe that gold will always shine. Actions speak louder than words. Sure enough, after some time, those students who had transferred out came back, because they realized that the teaching quality of other tutoring centers truly couldn't compare to ours. Teacher Lin, we're sorry, we shouldn't have believed the rumors. A parent sincerely apologized. It's all right, the choice was yours to make, I said magnanimously. As long as the children can learn well, that's what matters. This incident has strengthened my resolve to continue running the school. No matter what difficulties I encounter, I am determined to carry on with this endeavor, because I know this is not just a job, but a cause that benefits society. In the spring of 1978, my English textbook was officially published. The practical English tutorial was warmly welcomed upon its publication and was reprinted 3 times within just 1 month. I was in the middle of teaching a class when the editor from the publishing house called to share the good news with me. Professor Lin, your book has sold over 100,000 copies. The editor exclaimed excitedly. This is nothing short of a miracle for an educational guide. After hanging up the phone, I was overwhelmed with excitement. This not only signifies financial gains but also means that my teaching philosophy has gained widespread recognition. Although the royalties weren't substantial, for me at that time, it was already a considerable income. I decided to use this money to expand the scale of the tutoring school. I rented a small building next to the county cultural center and renovated it to serve as the official school premises. We hired more teachers and added more subjects. By the end of 1978, our tutoring school had over 20 teachers and more than 300 students. It became a somewhat well-known educational institution in the local area. During this time, Crucian continued to study in my English class. He is very diligent, never misses classes, and his academic performance is quite good. We maintain a teacher-student relationship between us, with very little personal communication. Occasionally when our eyes meet, there is still complex emotion in his gaze. But he never expresses it. I know he is still waiting for the day when I might change my mind, but I also know very well that day will never come. Xiaozhong continues to pursue me relentlessly, and it has become a habit for him to pick me up and drop me off at work every day. Although I have never agreed to date him, our relationship has indeed become much closer than before. Teacher Lin, what are your plans for this spring festival? Xiaozhong asked me. I haven't decided yet. Probably just resting at home, I replied. Would you like to celebrate the new year at my place? Xiaozhong tentatively asked. My mom really wants to meet you. This invitation left me somewhat conflicted. Meeting the parents would imply taking our relationship to the next level. But I wasn't quite ready for that yet. Xiaozhong, I think we still need more time to get to know each other better. I tactfully declined, although somewhat disappointed. Xiaozhong nodded in understanding. I can wait, he said, until you feel the time is right. This patience and tolerance made me like him even more. Perhaps I really should consider giving myself a fresh start. During the spring festival, the school was on holiday, giving me a rare break. I decided to return to my hometown to visit my elderly parents. My parents are quite satisfied with my current situation, believing I've found the right path for myself. Daughter, you're doing quite well now, said the mother. You have your own career and live a fulfilling life. It's just that we're a bit concerned about your personal life, said the father. You're not young anymore. It's time to think about settling down. I already have a candidate, I said with a smile, a nice young man who treats me very well. Upon hearing this, my parents were delighted and urged me to bring him home to meet them as soon as possible. I agreed, and in my heart, I truly began to seriously consider this matter. Perhaps it's time for a fresh start. After returning to the county town, I took the initiative to invite Xiaozhong out for a meal. Xiaozhong, I'd like to talk about our relationship, I said, getting straight to the point. Xiaozhong grew nervous. Professor Lin, are you rejecting me? No, quite the opposite, I smiled. I was thinking, perhaps we could try dating and see how it goes. Xiaozhong was stunned at first, then nearly jumped with excitement. Really? You're willing to give me a chance? Yes, but I have one condition, I said seriously. Let's take it slow. No rushing to succeed. Of course. Xiaozhong nodded repeatedly. Whatever you say goes. Watching his excited expression, a warmth welled up in my heart. Perhaps this is the beginning of my new life. After officially dating Xiaozhong, some subtle changes occurred in my life. Every day, he would give me a flower, though not an expensive variety. The thought behind it deeply moved me. On weekends, we would go to the movies together or take walks in the park. Xiaozhong is very considerate, never demanding anything and always going along with my wishes. Teacher Lin, are you tired? Do you want to take a break? He always cares for me like this. It's been a long time since I last experienced this feeling of being cared for. Although it's not the intense love I once had with Crucian, this gentle warmth is also precious. Most importantly, Xiaozhong makes me feel safe. I don't have to worry about him betraying me. Of course, our interactions also caught the attention of some people, especially Crucian, who seemed even more silent than before. Once during class, I accidentally noticed him watching as Xiaozhong and I walked hand in hand past the window, his expression very unpleasant. After class, he took the initiative to come find me. Professor Lin, I'd like to talk to you. His tone was very formal. Is there a problem with your studies? I asked, pretending not to know. It's not about studies. Crucian gritted his teeth. It's about you and Xiao Zhong. That's none of your business, I said coldly. I know it's none of my business, but I still want to say it. Crucian took a deep breath. Are you really sure about this? Sure about what? Being with him. Crucian's voice trembled slightly. Do you even know him? That's none of your concern. I was getting annoyed. Crucian, what we had is over. You have no right to meddle in my life. I don't mean to be presumptuous. Crucian paused. I just don't want to see you get hurt. Hurt, I scoffed. Do you think there's anything worse than the harm you've done to me? The words left Crucian pale, but he persisted. I know a bit about Xiao Zhong. Enough, I cut him off. No matter what kind of person he is, that's my choice, and at least he wouldn't betray me. With that, I walked away, leaving Crucian standing there alone. In truth, I understood perfectly well the psychology behind Crucian's words. He wasn't genuinely concerned about Xiao Zhong's character. He was simply jealous, unwilling to see me with someone else. But none of that mattered anymore. My life didn't need his guidance. A few days later, something unexpected happened to me. Xiao Zhong suddenly proposed to me. Teacher Lin, we've been dating for a while now, and I think we're very compatible, he said earnestly. Would you marry me? The proposal came so suddenly that I was completely unprepared. Xiao Zhong, we haven't known each other long enough. I tried to delay, but I'm already certain. I love you and want to be with you for the rest of my life. Xiao Zhong's attitude was firm. Besides, you're not getting any younger. The longer we wait, the harder it will be. His words made me somewhat uncomfortable, but I still patiently explained. Matters of the heart shouldn't be rushed. We need more time to understand each other. How much more time do you need? Xiao Zhong asked. At least another 6 months, I said. Xiao Zhong's expression darkened, but he nodded in agreement. However, after that, his attitude underwent some changes. The previous thoughtfulness and patience diminished, replaced mostly by impatience and urging. Teacher Lin, when can we define our relationship? He always asked like this. I think our current relationship is just fine, I replied, but that's not what I want. Xiao Zhong's tone carried some dissatisfaction. I want a definite commitment. This change made me start re-examining this relationship. Perhaps there is indeed something missing between us. Perhaps this isn't true love. As spring was coming to an end, I made an important decision. I'm going to the provincial capital to seek better opportunities. The county town's market has become saturated, while the provincial capital offers greater prospects. What's more important is that I want to leave this place full of memories and start a new life in a completely new environment. When I told Xiao Zhong about this decision, his reaction was intense. You're going to the provincial capital. Then what about us? He asked urgently. We can stay in touch, and if you're willing, you can come with me, I said, but I have a job and family here. How can I just up and leave? Xiao Zhong's tone carried a hint of resentment. Have you considered how I feel? His words took me by surprise, as he had always claimed he would do anything for me. I thought you would support my decision, I said calmly. Support is one thing, but you need to be realistic too, Xiao Zhong replied impatiently. At our age, what's the point of stirring up trouble? Isn't it better to live a stable life in this small town? Hearing this, I suddenly understood something. Perhaps what Xiao Zhong likes is not me as a person, but my status and career in the county town. What he wants is a stable life, a virtuous wife, not a woman with her own pursuits. It seems we have different ideas, I said calmly. Maybe we're not a good match. What do you mean? Xiao Zhong was stunned. I mean, let's break up. I spoke my mind directly. We want different things. Forcing ourselves to stay together isn't good for either of us. Xiao Zhong's face turned grim. Are you dumping me? It's not dumping, it's a rational analysis, I explained. We're truly not compatible. Why isn't it suitable? I've been so good to you. What more do you want? Xiao Zhong's tone grew sharp. What I want is understanding and support, not constraints, I said firmly. The sound of our argument drew the attention of some onlookers, including Crucian, who was waiting for me after class. Seeing us in dispute, he hesitated for a moment but then walked over. Is there a problem? He asked. None of your business. Xiao Zhong glared at him fiercely. She's my teacher. It's only natural for me to be concerned, Crucian said calmly, though there was a warning in his eyes. Who do you think you are, to care about her? Xiao Zhong lost control of his emotions. I heard you're the ex-husband who abandoned her." As soon as these words were spoken, the people around fell silent, and the atmosphere became tense. Crucian's face instantly turned ashen, and his hands clenched into fists. "Xiao Zhong, stop talking," I quickly intervened. "Why shouldn't I speak?" Xiao Zhong continued to shout loudly. "What right does he have to interfere in our affairs? A useless coward who can't even protect his own wife." This remark completely enraged Crucian, and he threw a punch at Xiao Zhong. Xiao Zhong didn't expect him to resort to violence and was knocked back several steps. "Enough," I shouted loudly. "Both of you, stop it." The people around quickly stepped in to mediate, preventing the conflict from escalating further. Xiao Zhong covered his face, glaring fiercely at Crucian. "Just you wait." He threw down these words and left. Crucian wanted to chase after him, but I stopped him. "Forget it, don't make any more trouble," I said wearily. "I'm sorry. I shouldn't have resorted to violence," Crucian said with regret, but his words were just too offensive. "Let's just put this matter to rest." I waved my hand. "Make sure nothing like this happens again." The crowd of onlookers gradually dispersed, leaving only Crucian and me. Are you okay?" he asked with concern. "I'm fine," I shook my head. "But our relationship is really over. He doesn't deserve you," Crucian suddenly said. I glanced at him. "This has nothing to do with you. I know it's none of my business, but I still want to say it." Crucian looked at me deeply. "You deserve someone better." This statement stirred something in my heart, but I quickly regained my composure. "Thank you for your concern, but my affairs are none of your business," I said before walking away. From behind me came Crucian's voice. I will never give up." I didn't turn back, but a mix of emotions welled up inside me. Perhaps going to the provincial capital was indeed the right decision, allowing me to completely leave the past behind and start a brand new life. A month later, carrying all my savings and dreams for the future, I boarded the train to the provincial capital. Before leaving, Crucian came to see me off. "Take care," he said. "You too," I nodded.